New Orleans at Indy, Simon. Very tricky spot. Colts were dogs. Now they're favored. Remember, teams in that scenario, 42-81 against the spread the past 5 years. Last week, we bet New Orleans when they were dogs. They ended up as the faves. We thought we had a good number. Totally makes me sick to say this. I lean Saints. Wouldn't be surprised if they snuck in as a fifth pick in our contest. The defense is just really good. Like second most 3-and-outs in the league, turnovers in every game. I don't see them not getting a turnover against Minshew. Their opponents have a league low 17.8 passer rating on throws of 20 yards or more. We saw how many times Gardner Minshew threw picks against the Browns when he was trying to go downfield. The problem is that Derek Carr is truly awful.
Yeah, and I can't get away from it. It's like we're supposed to take the Saints here, aren't we?
Yes.
Minshew splits against zone and man are alarming. Like this guy, he can look like an all-pro when it's man, but then when it's zone, he is what he is a backup quarterback. Like he just cannot throw against zone. So I don't know what the hell happened in that Browns game. Maybe it was just a game where they banged their heads against that 49ers team that rode the high all week and they just were unprepared against this Colts team. But yeah, that the refs gave the Browns that win. Like the Colts should have won that game. Tons of terrible calls went against them.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, they're coming off a loss year, but it still feels like the public's buying a little high on this Colts team where the fact this number's flipped. I mean, I normally would jump right in on the Saints one. I'm going to wait on this and talk to some people, like, because it could be really smart money coming on the Colts team and they have a read here, but I'm right there with Chad. It's like I'm getting the better defense as a dog. I'm getting the better quarterback as a dog. I know it's not saying much compared to Minshew, but Derek Carr, biggest issues are those red zones, man. And it looked like he kind of figured some stuff out last week. Like they kind of did some things where, as much as I would love to blame him for having a shitty game, it's like the guy dropped the tight end in the back of the end zone at the end of the game. Like that's not Derek's fault. He made the right read, made a good throw. That's football. Those plays just happen. So feel terrible for the guy, but it was right there. And it was right there to land on one. Like they would have gone for two. In my mind, there was no doubt they were going to go for two if they had scored that touchdown. And that felt like that game was going to land right on that number. So kind of sickening because we had good value last week, didn't come through. Maybe I'm chasing it here, but it's like the value is on the Saints. I'm gonna wait, talk to some guys, see what they're betting here, just because it's another game that just feels a little too easy and it doesn't make sense, this number.
Well, the problem is the defense is so good, and Derek Carr through his career has been serviceable enough that it makes you feel like there's competence and that they can sneak one in, especially against a team like this, or especially at home against the Jags. And look, they should have had that game, right? There were a couple of bad plays, and then right at the worst moments, their defense revealed, and the Jags moved down the field, and Tyrann Mathieu got beat in a really bad spot in the final 2 minutes. But then they were able to move the ball down the field again and get into that spot to score a touchdown. So there's no reason for us not to back the Saints. Like they could be the better team here. Just hard to do it.
Yeah, they're just the better coachings on the Colts side, and we know that for a fact. It's like
Yeah.
we have the proof in the pudding. Dennis Allen he's a bad head coach. He's the worst head coach we've ever seen in football, technically ATS record wise. So that's definitely the big pushback here from a lot of people.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is not a great spot.